In September 2018, Jack and I got on a plane to Calgary and then drove into the Canadian Rockies. It was a glorious series of adventures featuring road trips, lakes, canyons, waterfalls, mountains, crazy lost valleys, and it changed our view of travel forever. In this video we discussed the towns and lakes we visited. Okay, some of these might get a bit quicker. So, Banff or Jasper? I'm interested to see whether we pick a different one.
You go first.
I like Jasper.
I know you did.
I don't really know why, I have to say, because it was very much like the town Stephen King built, and you kept expecting, like, you know, the clown or something to appear. But and there wasn't as much to do in the place. I think there was a bit more action adventure sort of activities you could do from there if you were into that sort of thing. Yeah. But in terms of the town itself, you're right. It was I guess, but it was more like a proper place.
Yeah.
You felt like people did live there.
Oh, they
and
did.
Of course, I just like the whole rail thing. So the fact that I'd managed to arrive at a town that was like a proper rail town, like you see off of the movies. We have finally arrived at Jasper, but our entry has been blocked by an epically long cargo train that seems to be going about 2 miles an hour. Question is, whether Jack will have his way before this train lets us into Jasper. You know what I mean? I loved it.
I know you did. One of the first things you did was rock up to the Rocky Mountaineer.
Yeah.
You disappeared for like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And left me on a street.
For a walk around to see what it was like in a snowstorm. It was fantastic.
Yeah. It was amazing. No. It was like a base camp, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
It had that feeling. Yeah. I had Banff.
Yeah.
Banff was a bit more...
I don't think we made as much of Banff as we should have done.
No.
Because we just went on adventures, came back, went on adventures and came back.
Yeah.
While other people were going to like pubs and restaurants. Well, we went to restaurants. But you know what I mean? They made a bit more of it.
There was a charm about it. It was odd. It felt authentic. It didn't feel...
I don't know. To me, it felt a bit like Disney Springs. But maybe that's because that's more because that's the sort of thing Disney Springs is based on, rather than it being like Disney Springs.
Yeah. I don't know. You don't get the feeling that many people live there, like you mentioned in Jasper. There was people that lived there.
It felt like a lived-in place. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Banff was very... Maybe once the tourists go away, and maybe once not the right season, maybe there isn't many people there. But we went during a busy time. It was the end of summer.
Yeah. Banff had more hot women in it.
Yeah. But no, Banff was, I don't know. It was odd. It was an odd place. It's definitely up there with one of the best places I went to. I mean, bearing in mind, the year before we'd obviously went to Disney Springs, and there was a lot more to do. I thought, again, we didn't make as much use of it.
There was
we mostly,
different.
I mean, you mostly slept.
Different like night spots, I think.
Yeah,
but we're not like big night spots or people, so that explains that.
But again, it was the first place we went to in the Rocky Mountains, and you were surrounded by the mountains. You had two huge mountains either side. You had Sulphur Mountain, and I can't remember what the other one was called. And I remember the first night we were there, we were sat in a restaurant in a sports bar, and we looked out the window, and it was just a huge mountain next to us. And I remember thinking, wow, people will love to see that. I took a picture of it, not remembering that people in the UK were obviously in bed at that time. It was like 4:00 our time. But that was pretty insane. I remember walking around just being, it was just in awe, I guess. Yeah, it was very good.
It's pretty cool. I mean, they're both pretty good. Go to both and drive between them. That's our shared message from this question. Okay. Let's whether we need to talk about each one here, because we've discovered we've discussed a lot of them. So we maybe just run down them from 5 to 1 and maybe discuss it. So my lakes. Actually, I can't believe I've got one on there. I shouldn't have, what was I thinking when I made this list? So I'll tell you why. So I've got Herbert Lake as number 5.
Yeah.
Valley of the Seven Lakes. I'm pretty sure it's 5. We just keep imagining it as 7.
Yeah.
Lake Louise, Moraine Lake, and then Boom Lake. But I'm going to say this list is a load of bollocks. because there's also like Bow Lake and Peyto Lake, and was it Crystal Lake?
Yes.
I mean, that should be on there instead of Herbert Lake. I think I just put Herbert Lake on there because I remember how bad it was, so I put it at 5. But in truth, if you think about it, it probably shouldn't even be on the list. So
No.
if I was to sit and do this list again, looking at it now as we're talking, it'd look slightly different. I don't know what I was thinking there. But you get the idea, right? Boom Lake's number 1.
Yeah.
And I'd have probably squeezed off Herbert Lake and Valley of the Five Lakes and put on something like Bow Lake or Crystal Lake in 4 and 5.
Yeah. I had so in 5 I had Lake Louise. In 4 I had Emerald Lake.
Yeah. Emerald
Then
Lake, that's the one, not Crystal Lake, Emerald Lake. Yeah.
I then had Moraine Lake, and then I had Peyto Lake, and then Boom Lake.
Yeah, I was in 2 minds about Peyto Lake.
Peyto Lake was epic.
It was
amazing.
epic, but you were so far away from it.
Yeah,
That's why you didn't make it, but it was epic. And I wondered whether you would put Peyto Lake on, because I remember that day, it was almost like, I remember I didn't particularly feel you were that bothered about walking to it.
Bearing in mind, we'd just been in the car for quite a while.
Yeah.
And we'd been on that road for a
maybe in the
long
car
time.
6 hours, and then it was like, let's do a hike.
Yeah, and it was a bit like, oh, whoa, no. Like, it was good though. I did enjoy it. It's up there because it was busy.
It was busy.
It's one of the top attractions on the Icefield Parkway.
Yeah.
No matter which way you go.
Yeah, because it's quite a short hike. It's big reward for little effort.
Yeah, you're about 5 minutes away from the car park. Yeah, it's not long. But once you've seen it, why get close to it? Do you know what I mean? Like, why? You're at the top.
Yeah.
You can see all of it.
You can see
whereas
all of it. Yeah, it is quite.
There's a lot more.
And you
effort
can
to go down.
also jump over the barrier.
Yes.
And that seems to be allowed, or maybe there's no one there to tell you, because I walked quite far out. Peyto Lake. This might have to be our last stop on the ice field, otherwise we're never going to get to Jasper. It was spectacular. As I said, I must have been in a strange mood when I made that list. There's 2 that shouldn't even be on there.
Yeah.
I think Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Peyto Lake. Number 1 was Peyto Lake.
Okay.
Did you have number 1 for Peyto Lake?
No, I had 2.
All right, 2. What was your number 1 again?
Boom Lake.
Boom Lake. Yeah, I was going to say.
Obviously.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.